And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God and to those who are called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28.
So I got my US 10-year green card in 6 weeks. Is this real? Even if you land a day after your 2nd year anniversary, automatically you will get a 10-year green card. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is 𝗖𝗢𝗧, and if you are new on here, welcome. I'm so glad to have you. And if you are an oldie, a Goldie, welcome back. I'm so excited for today's video. And first things first, before we jump into the video, let me not get ahead of myself. Please make sure you like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. If this channel has been a blessing to you in any way, please do that. And if you are new on here and you want to see what I'm talking about, by all means stay. And then if this channel, the topics and all of that interest you, then I welcome you to join the community. It is a super fun, chill, loving, wholesome place to be. All right, let us get into the video. So as you always see from my last video, I got my 10-year US green card. I have it right here. It is right here with me. Wow. You know, there are just certain things that God does for you and you're just speechless. You're just like, whoa. That is how I feel, and I'm just super grateful for this. I'm super grateful to God for God, right? But let us get into the video. So I'm going to be talking a whole bunch about my green card towards the end of the video, so you want to make sure you are tuned all the way to the end, so I talk more about that in the end. But most importantly, a lot of people are actually on this journey, filing for their CR1 or IR1 visa, and some people even the fiance K1 visa. And these videos I've been uploading have been very helpful to so many people, and I'm so grateful. I'm so glad that the information I'm putting out there is encouraging your hearts the same way I used to watch so many other people's videos during my process. I just said to myself, I have to do this for someone else, you know? So I'm so glad that these videos have been helpful. If you have not caught on my US spousal visa journey, it's going to be linked up top, so you can go back and watch any of the videos. I think I have about 9 or 10 videos in the series right now, and I promise you they're enjoyable, they're very informative, and it's going to bless your heart. It's going to help you on your journey if you are on the journey, or if you do know someone who is on this journey, please make sure you share these videos with them. It's going to be so helpful. Once I came into the US, I had to go through immigration, and that is called the port of entry. At the port of entry, it's very important that you carry some documents with you, because the immigration officer is going to ask you first. Once you get there, you know, they're going to tell you, welcome to the United States. Typically, the queues are very long, but depending on what airport you land in, and then they're gonna ask you for your passport. Once they ask you for your passport, obviously they check to make sure that the identities match, that, you know, your bio data page matches who you are, right? And then the next thing they're gonna do is they are going to go to the US visa, which was issued to you from your country, or whatever country you got your visa in. So once you are approved for your CR1 or IR1 spousal visa, a visa is stamped onto your passport. And now let me mention, it's very important, that the visa that is stamped on your passport is only valid typically no more than 6 months. So whenever you get your US spousal visa, you have a very limited time to come into the US. That is very important, because if you miss out on the timing, there's an expiry date on that visa, If you miss out on that, you're going to go through the whole process again. So whatever you do, make sure you come in that 6, 4, 5 month time frame. Whatever it is that they have stamped on your passport, make sure you come in that time. So they're going to ask you for your passport, and then once they check it out, see your visa, which has your permanent residence stamped on there as well. They're going to ask you for some documents. So typically it may be one of those documents that you took to the embassy. So for me, I wasn't taking no chances. My hand luggage while I was flying, this was what was in there. Can you see? Can you see how big this is? I made sure I took every single item, every single document that I had gone to the embassy with for my spousal visa interview. I took it all with me in my hand luggage as I arrived in the US. So once I got there, I don't really remember the documents that the immigration officer had asked me for, but once he asked me for a certain document, maybe it was a tax, I'm not really sure. I don't want to, misquote, but he asked me for a document. I immediately went into my hand luggage. I pulled out this big document, pulled it out, and because I already have them labeled, I don't know if you can see it on here, but I have it labeled, so I knew where what I was looking for was. So I just went ahead and I pulled it out. I gave it to the immigration officer alongside my passport, and he told me to go sit on the other side of the little screen, the immigration stand, whatever that thing is called. He told me to go sit on the other side. So I went and I sat down there for maybe, because of the airport I landed in, there were quite a number of people waiting. So I waited about maybe 30 to 45 minutes. After sitting there, they called me, and the immigration officer actually came to meet me because I'm not sure, I didn't hear my name. So they came to meet me and they gave me back my passport. They let me know I was clear and I was good to go. So they actually did stamp my visa. They stamped it at my entry. However, what was written on the stamp was CR1. They wrote CR1, and I went to ask the immigration officer why he wrote CR1 and not IR1 on my visa stamp. And I'll tell you more about that now. So the CR1 visa means that you have been married under 2 years, versus the IR1, which means you have been married for over 2 years. At the point of entry, I was already married for over 2 years, and I didn't understand why he stamped CR1 on my passport, right? So I was like, sir, why did you stamp CR1? And he said, it's okay, don't worry about it. You are IR1, so don't worry about it. Your green card is going to still be intact, so don't worry about it. And this is very important because if you have been married under 2 years and your visa has been approved, they have stamped your visa on your passport, and you come into the US, you will get a 2-year green card. However, if you have been married over 2 years, your court wedding, by the time you step into the US, you will be getting a 10-year green card. So one of the reasons I did not come into the US immediately after I got my visa stamped on my passport was because I was still under the 2-year mark. My port of entry was super easy. They didn't ask me one question. They didn't ask me who is picking you up, where's the person at. They didn't ask any of those questions. However, if you are in this process, just be prepared for anything. Anything can happen. I've gone through the I-130 petition, you have gone through the NVC stage and all of that. At this point, your marriage is legitimate and you are welcome into the US. But just be prepared for any documents. So just make sure that whatever you take to the embassy, you definitely have it with you in your hand luggage. Do not check it into your main suitcase. Don't do that. Just put it in your hand luggage and you'll be good. Whatever they ask you, make sure you have that and you can pull it out and show them and you are good to go. So port of entry was easy breezy. I passed through. They didn't even check any of my luggage. Like, oh ma'am, did you bring yam? Did you bring did you bring crayfish? Did you bring indomie? They didn't ask me none of that. But just be prepared for whatever. That was my own experience. It was easy and I passed through immigration. I went and I got my luggage and I went home. Next thing, you are a new immigrant in the US and you need certain things to start operating, right? You need like a driver's license, you need your social security number, right? So once you come into the US, your social security number, which is really your identifier, will be sent to you. You don't have to apply for anything. You don't have to call anybody. They will send it to the mailing address that you provided to the USCIS. So if for whatever reason your spouse maybe you guys moved locations, you moved houses or apartments or whatever, if you moved, make sure you go to the USCIS to do a change of address. It is very important. Whatever address you have in the USCIS portal will be where they send your social security number to. So they're gonna send a card to you. So you wanna make sure that that address is up to date. Next thing would be getting your driver's license. Your driver's license can be gotten from any of the Department of Public Safety offices. There are certain documents that you will need. One of the most important things is that you check the unique requirement for the state that you are in to know what they need. Each state is a little bit different, but when you go there, make sure you ask questions, especially if you don't have a certain document. Exceptions can always be made, substitutions can always be made. I actually made a video on me getting my driver's license and you can click the link above to go watch that video. But most importantly, when you go to the Department of Public Safety in your state or the DMV, depending on what it's called in your state, you're going to take your passport for sure. The US visa stamp is on your passport, and one of the most important things on that visa, it says that upon endorsement, this serves as a temporary I-551 evidencing permanent residence for 1 year. That is on your visa. It's very important because anywhere you go, if you want to go apply for a job, if you want to go get a state ID, if you want to get a driver's license, the visa on your passport almost stands as your permanent residence card until you get your green card. So this is very important. So when I went for my driver's license, they asked me, do you have your green card? Can we have it? And I said, no, I don't, but I do have the visa stamp on here. And it states here expressly that this serves as a permanent residence card for 1 year. Most important part, it is the green card, getting your green card. I got my green card in 6 weeks. In exactly 6 weeks of me landing in the US and me paying the fee. So I want to go a little bit into that, and I did get a 10-year green card as opposed to a 2-year green card. Earlier in the video, I talked about being a CR1 versus an IR1. I got my US visa stamped on my passport. My marriage was still under 2 years. So I did not want to come into the US immediately because I wanted to get the 10-year green card. When you come into the US after the 2-year mark of your wedding, even if you land a day after your 2nd year anniversary, automatically you will get a 10-year green card. And for me, I really wanted that, because if you get the 2-year green card, after 2 years, or when it's getting close to 2 years, you have to go apply for the 10-year green card. and you will pay a new fee. You go through a whole new process of redoing your paperwork and all of that. And to be very honest, I didn't want to do that. I was like, I've already but I've already gone through this whole long, very long and tiring process, the USCIS phase, the NVC phase, waiting for a US interview, going for the interview. So like all of that was just a lot for me. And personally, I did not see why I should rush into the US with a 2-year green card and then have to start applying for another one in a year and a half. It didn't make sense to me. So that was one of the reasons I did not come into the US immediately after I got my visa. I stayed a little bit because I wanted the 2-year mark to pass so I would get the 10-year green card. And yay, your girl got her 10-year green card. We official. We official. We official. How do you get your green card? The first thing is, and also before I go into the first thing, I've seen a trend where people who made their payment before coming into the US got their green card much later than people who made the payment after they got into the US. So I made my payments immediately I came into the US. I made that payment, and then I got my green card in 6 weeks. Some people, I know, but don't quote me on this, it's just a trend I've seen. I got my green card before some people who even came into the US before me. I'm not sure if there's, any science to that, but that's just what I have observed. First thing to do is pay the $220 fee, or whatever the USCIS immigration fee is. You will pay that on the website, and I'm going to link that website in my bio. You can go there and make that payment. When you go to make the payment, it's going to ask you for information. Remember, your A number is going to be on the sheet that was given to you at the embassy when you went to pick up your visa. However, if you don't have that sheet, good thing you have your passport. Your A number is on the visa stamp in your passport, and it is registration number. We're going to put that. So A numbers begin with letter A followed by 8 or 9 numbers. And I'm going to put an example on the screen. Your DOS case ID. Your DOS case ID again is on the visa stamp in your passport, and it is also on the document, the paper that was given to you at pickup. Once you put those 2 numbers in, you will go ahead and make that payment. So I'm just going to read to you how to make the payment. So you go to www.uscis.gov/USCIS-ELIS and select login. Select USCIS immigrant fee from the chart. Enter your A number and DOS case ID as shown at the top of the handout or in your passport. You pay the $220 fee online. And if you have family members who live with you in the United States, you can pay for those family members at the same time that you pay for yours. So if you're coming in with other people as well, you can pay at the same time. However, you will need each family member's A number and DOS case ID to pay for each person. Then the most important thing, and I love this so much, is that once you make that payment, you can track where your green card is in the process, right? And to track your green card, you go to www.uscis.gov and select check my case status. So once you make the payment for your green card, there's going to be a number, an IOE probably. You're going to get an IOE number, and you get that from your payment receipt, and that's what you're going to use to check the status of your green card. So when you go check, you may not get anything immediately. It may just show you that payment has been made for this case number. And then once you check it again, it could show something like, okay, card is being produced or being processed, and then it tells you when your card has been mailed out, and then it tells you when your card has been received or delivered, right? So super, super important. These are the steps to follow to get your green card. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Have any questions whatsoever on the immigration journey, please go ahead and type that out in the comment section, and I will get to them as much as I can when I'm able to. And for everyone who is on this journey, this process right now, I just want to encourage you to wait. Your turn and your time will come. Everything eventually works out very good, and my prayer for you is that your heart is strengthened as you wait. It's not easy. I waited as well for almost 23 months before I was able to successfully migrate into the US and be with my husband. And I'm just praying for you and your spouse that God strengthens your heart as you wait. I promise you, you're going to go from watching this video to living in the US with your spouse very, very soon. All right, y'all, until next time. Bye.